Hi, this is David Dusek for Golfweek. In Toy Box Extra this week, I took a look at the number of wedges that you should be carrying in your bag. Because if you look out on the PGA Tour, you're going to find a lot of great players, great short games that are built around 3 wedge systems and 4 wedge systems. For example, Paul Casey uses a pitching wedge, an attack wedge, a sand wedge, and a lob wedge. Bryson DeChambeau also carries 4 wedges, but Luke Donald only carries 3 wedges, a pitching wedge, a 54, and a 60. Jordan Spieth uses 3 wedges, and Dustin Johnson only uses 3 wedges as well. So how do you go about determining whether you should be one of the golfers who uses 3 wedges or 4? Over the years, I've had a chance to talk with a lot of players about their wedges and their short games, and I've had a chance to observe how they approach things. I've had a chance to talk with coaches, people who make and design wedges, like Bob Vokey at Titleist and Roger Cleveland at Callaway, and a lot of other folks. And what I can sort of figure out is that the better the player you are, the lower your handicap, the more club head speed you can generate, probably the better off you're going to be going with 4 wedges. In order to add an extra wedge to your bag, and most likely that's going to be a gap wedge, something around 50 degrees to 52 degrees in loft, you're going to have to take another club out of your bag. You're only allowed to carry 14. And that club will most likely be a long iron, say a 3 iron if you still carry one, maybe a 4 iron. And what you're probably going to need to do is work with a custom fitter to weaken up your weakest hybrid club or fairway wood club and slightly strengthen the loft of your next longest iron. So if you take a 3 iron out, you're going to have to strengthen the loft, for example, of your 4 iron. And what that's going to do is create a gap at the top of your golf bag, though in the long clubs, that'll be hopefully somewhat manageable. And more accomplished players and players who swing a little bit faster can probably make up that gap or handle that gap a little bit easier. That's going to allow them to put in another club in their wedge system that's going to allow them to take more full swings into greens and probably give them a lot more versatility when it comes to shots hit from, say, 100 yards and in. Golfers who have slower club head speeds and maybe are a little less experienced, people with higher handicaps, say who are shooting 95, 100 or more, are probably going to be golfers who their highest lofted wedge could very well be a 56 degree wedge. And if your highest wedge is a 56 because you're just not skill-wise able to handle, say, a 58 or a 60 degree wedge, then you're probably going to just run out of room. You're going to have a lot more overlap if you go, say, 56 to 54 to 52 to 48 and you have a 4 wedge system that's compacted. You're probably going to be one of those players that's going to benefit from having more fairway woods, more hybrid clubs. You're going to get more out of that in your game than you would by adding an extra wedge. Now, with all that said, the best way for you to determine whether you should be playing with 3 wedges or 4 is to go to a good custom fitter, explain to that person what types of shots you find yourself hitting most often on the golf courses that you play the most, and work with them to figure out what is going to be the best system for you. A good custom fitter can bend and tweak maybe the wedges that you already have, suggest different combinations of wedges, and look at your bag as a whole to figure out what is going to be the best way for you to attack the golf course, shoot lower scores, and hopefully have more fun. I'm David Dusek for Golfweek.